Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm Kelsey here today, checking in with Tanya Avila. She's the COO and CLO at BigFork Technologies. Excited to have her on the show.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely. So Tanya, tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I am the rare startup lawyer who went straight in-house after law school. So I've been doing this in-house legal for almost 20 years now. And it's been nothing but technology companies of various sizes along the way.
Okay. When did you first become interested in this field?
Actually, in undergrad, I was help desk for a small e-com company that back then I'm aging myself at this point. E-com was a brand new thing.
Okay.
And I was in college, not sure sort of where I wanted to go.
Uh-huh.
And my boss, the CTO, came over to my desk and said, "Hey, we've got these software contracts. I can't make heads or tails of them. You're in college. Maybe you can." And
Right.
I looked at them and thought, you know what? This doesn't make any sense. Someone's got to be able to make this easier. And I bet they can make a lot of money when they do. So I went to law school.
So you went to law school. Very interesting. I had a similar experience. I didn't end up going to law school, but there was a time where I was on that path as well. A similar experience. But so tell me, what problem does BigFork Technology solve? How do you help companies?
So BigFork Technology started originally as a legal tech software company, and we've expanded a little bit into general project management. Essentially, what we do is we make it easier to get all of your work done. We started from the point of view of the in-house lawyer because there is nothing else out there that actually solves the problems that we were facing as we were doing the job. And so we started there. As we started implementing it for customers, other departments wanted to come on board and use the same technology. So we've expanded a little bit with some additional functionality and features that the other departments within a company might like more than what legal really needs, but it's still primarily legal focused. And the biggest thing that it does is it allows the in-house lawyer to manage all of their work in one place for the entire team.
And that can certainly be an overwhelming feat just based on the amount that may be coming through that individual lawyer's desk. I can't imagine. I'm sure you know best, which is why you are here now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the variety is the bigger issue. Prior to starting BigFork, when I was before we founded the company, I had 3 different software to manage my workload.
Wow.
And that only managed about 70% of it. The rest of it was done through email or Slack or hallway conversations. And nothing was ever in the same place. So I would spend probably 20% of my time just trying to find where my work was at, not actually producing anything, just finding it.
Right. Interesting. So it sounds like you were able to take all of your experiences and really streamline the process to help other companies and other lawyers with that. Am I hearing that right?
Yes. So we actually started back up a little bit. When I first graduated from law school, I worked for GoDaddy.com. I went there straight out of law school. I worked for my current CEO was the general counsel there, Christine Jones.
Yeah.
And together she had her team with the help of a very, very supportive IT and dev team build out internal tools.
Okay.
And then I left GoDaddy and I never found anything like it. So after being on my own for about 15 years at different technology companies, Christine contacted me and we started talking about what we really wanted to see in the world. And what we wanted to do was recreate what we had done at GoDaddy, only better and more adapted to new technology. So we started out with sort of a general idea of what we wanted. We added on the experience that I had at 5 or 6 different companies since GoDaddy. And we just continue to iterate based off of what our customers are telling us now. But it definitely is sort of a passion project of let's solve all the pain points I spent the last 20 years being
Yeah.
frustrated with.
Yeah, right. Making your life easier, wishing you had yourself 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. So how have you been able to scale your business?
So most of our growth has come from word of mouth. Our customers are generally really happy with our product and they tell their friends about it. The in-house community is a pretty small legal community.
Okay.
Well, I want to say small. It's actually quite large, but it's very connected.
Uh-huh.
So if you know someone, if you know an in-house lawyer, it's likely they know 10, 15, 20 others. And so you get the 6 degrees of separation from any
Yeah,
other in-house lawyer in the world.
you're right.
Uh, and so word of mouth has been the primary growth factor.
Okay.
As far as the business line, the product line has grown by that feedback, that customer feedback,
Okay.
because we're always looking to incorporate new pain points as other technologies advance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Slack or email integration, things like that, e-signatures, things that weren't an issue 20 years ago. Um, we're adding those in to our roadmap to make sure that we stay current with the current pain points.
Yeah, and it sounds too like you've been able to integrate and streamline those processes, which makes you stand out from your competition.
Yes, so we have some really cool features that our competition either doesn't have or doesn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to basically manage the workflow from intake, whether that's intake through an email account, intake through or an Outlook integration, or
Yep.
intake through an intake form that's just a web portal form for
Mm-hmm.
your customers to send work to you, all the
Mm-hmm.
way through DocuSign, getting things signed, executed, and then the post execution reports and notices. So we're really an end to end
Yeah.
workflow tool for legal.
So it sounds like you target a lot of in-house audience with Big Fork Technologies. Are there any other target audiences that you look to hit with your marketing and your
Uh,
services?
yeah, so we have a couple of other versions of Allo that we do. So we have Allo Basic, which is really meant for sort of the small entrepreneurs, the ones who are just they walk into their home office and they've got a pile full of papers on their desk and they just don't know
Mm-hmm.
what to do with it. So we created Allo Basic, which has a lot of the same workflow functions, but is
Okay.
applied to non-contract, non-legal type work,
Mm-hmm.
to help organize just an entrepreneur. We
Yeah.
partnered that with some website domains and hosting so that you can get sort of your full business presence in one
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm.
We also COVID, because I'm a mom of 3 kids, and COVID shutdowns at school made me feel like I needed something to be able to track the kids' schoolwork and
Oh,
all of their
yeah.
homeschooling and all the things that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden I was COO, CLO, and teacher for 3 different kids in 3 different
Yeah.
grades. So
Jeez.
we, yeah, that was fun. So I
It
had,
was a time.
so one of my favorite parts of my job is I run the dev team. So I
Yeah.
told them I needed something to help me manage my kids' schedules and assignments, and they built me back to school. So now we have an Allo back to school version, which is really
Wow.
helpful for like homeschoolers or really, the class moms and the
Yeah.
involved parents, but also for teachers to sort of help
Yeah.
manage their assignments and their students a little bit. So it's been interesting to dive off. It's sort of a diversion from business, but it's
Yeah.
a lot of the same sort of workflows and notifications, and fundamentally underneath it
Right.
all, it's the same stuff. It's the same process. It's just applied a little differently.
That's so interesting. I love that story because that's how so many entrepreneurs really get started is identifying an issue. And it sounds like in every facet of this company, it's been like something that you've identified as being like, I can streamline this. Like I'm work harder, or work smarter, not harder. So I think that's so interesting of being able to take your experience as being a mom. And I know COVID was very difficult on a lot of people who are working, who are trying to juggle being a parent or a caregiver and then having to add on, like you said, three different grade levels, three like numerous different subjects, juggling all of that, making sure that, the kids stay on top of everything. That's really interesting that you were able to take that and turn that into a business practice.
Yeah, it's the only way I survived through COVID and
I
the school
bet.
shutdowns.
I bet. So how do you generate revenue then? Is it a subscription for Allo?
It is. So we're a SaaS-based company. So we do have subscriptions for the different Allo levels.
Hmm.
It's generated on a per user annual license fee.
Okay.
And we also offer, one of the things that differentiates us from our competitors is we offer what we call managed services.
Okay.
So a lot of project management or legal software will give you the software and give you a handbook about an inch and a half thick of here's how you actually manage it. Here's how you add a field, or here's how you create a template.
Mm-hmm.
And I found when I was practicing that I didn't have time to do any of that. So I ended up going back to the company and asking them
Okay.
to do it for me and paying hourly fees for someone to do it for me.
Yeah.
And it would end up costing twice as much, if not more, than the annual license fee did.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating. So one of the things that we've created is managed services where we actually take that administrative role. We've created a privacy separation where we can administer your Allo instance without ever seeing your data.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
interesting.
we can create those templates for you without seeing how you apply them to your customers. We can create a workflow for you without ever seeing who your internal clients are, any of your personal data.
Yeah.
So that's one of our other lines of revenue is our professional services and managed services, where we take a lot of that administrative burden off of the shoulders of our clients.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of people aren't necessarily super familiar that this service exists in the way that you've created it for in-house lawyers and your different allos. So talk to me a little bit about how you educate prospective customers.
So we have a couple different ways that we do that. We have some online videos that show demonstrations of how our software works.
Hmm.
And we've done some webinars where we walk through different how you build different processes, how to implement a software service, how to create workflows or generate templates. And then in the sales process itself, we have several conversations with our prospective customers prior to signing the contract.
Hmm.
And then we have in the implementation process, we have a pretty in-depth implementation team that, again, tries to take as much of the heavy lifting off of our clients as possible. The
Yeah.
reason why you get our software is you're overwhelmed. The
Right.
last thing you need to do is take 6 months to a year to implement a new software that's supposed to make your life easier.
Right, right, right. Interesting. So, what would you say one thing that you would love our listeners to know about either your software or Big Fork Technologies?
So BigFork Technologies is a women-owned, women-run company. It was started by two lawyers, Christine and myself, to solve the problems of lawyers.
Yeah.
It's a very sort of customer-centric mindset in both the product and the way we run the company because we are the target audience.
Right, right. So you know firsthand what you need, how you need it, and when you need it.
Right. And we can understand when a customer or a prospective customer comes to us and says, I'm really missing this piece of the workflow.
Mm-hmm.
You're not translating it through three different levels of customer support and
Right,
technologists and salespeople before you get to someone who actually understands what the actual need is.
right, right. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm sure you're able to take that feedback and transfer it into different developments or different, parts of your software, right?
Yes. Yeah. We've added several different features to our roadmap based off of feedback that we've gotten from
Mhm.
customers.
That's really interesting. So I've got one more question for you before you go. What would be one thing, both personally and professionally, that you hope to be celebrating in this next year?
Um, oh, that's a challenging one. This last year has been a little challenging for me personally.
Okay.
I've moved from Texas to Colorado and changed school districts for my son who's
Yep.
autistic, and we're really hoping that personally in the next year, we really see some growth for him in the new
Yeah.
school that he's
Yeah.
in. And we're already starting to see it. So I'm really, really excited about where that could go. Um,
Oh.
Professionally, I guess it's the same sort of thing. BigFork is my fourth baby.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm really excited to just see it grow. And this is the first year we're really post development that we're really putting our time and effort into sales and marketing and
Mhm.
trying to get our name out there. And so
Absolutely.
I really would like to see some recognition and some for BigFork to become an actual known player in the industry and not just
Yeah.
the scrappy little kid who's coming up.
Right. Right. Tanya, this has been a great conversation. I love talking about how one, women owned, women founded, love that. But how, you've been able to take your experience as a lawyer and transform it into so many different software development, managed services, being able to just really be a true entrepreneur and identify pain points and being able to capitalize on them, both, for functionality and the features for your legal focused company. So I think this was a great conversation. And I appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kelsey.